Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Was the meeting properly noticed?
Yes, it was.
Clerk, please take roll.
All members are present with Rick Pease coming in late.
Okay. Have the agenda before us. Any changes in the agenda? Seeing none, the agenda will stand approved as presented. We had the minutes from April 29th and May 2nd. Any changes in those minutes? So, okay, motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Minutes are approved. We'll allow public participation as we move on. Project status. Any questions in the project status? Yes, Finance Director, is there anything you want to note?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
for most of my projects, there's been no change.
Okay. Okay. So if there are any questions, maybe get a hold of Kyle or he can report on the next meeting. Then we have economic development and Derek is here.
I do have a couple quick updates if you don't mind.
Okay, go right ahead.
We were encouraged by WEDC to work on a certified sites program with the city of Adams. What certified sites programs do is they basically do studies on a certain site and let you know they are for developers, and then they let the state push certain sites based on what's at that site. So it basically studies would be done regarding acreage, what's there for natural gas, electricity, things like that. The studies generally are fairly expensive. The reason WEDC suggested Adams is because two reasons. WEDC got no applicants for the certified sites program this year. There's only 12 in the state, 12 or 13. So to have a certified site gives you a distinct advantage when you're trying to find developers. So because there were no applicants, WEDC will pay half the cost of the studies that need to be done, which run, unfortunately, about $150,000, maybe slightly less. But the site that is in Adams is right along the railroad tracks, even though that portion of it is undeveloped. Chicago Northwestern has a new program and economic development initiatives where they have funds set aside to help develop land along the tracks, add spurs, clear land, things like that. So WEDC will pick up half the cost. We'll go with WEDC and Centergy likely to talk to Chicago Northwestern to see if they would be apt to pick up the other half. And then the city still has to get on board with that program, but kind of exciting that the railroad has economic development programs now. And then the only other thing I had to mention was there's a large project, roughly $50 million, just getting started at the south end of the county. But I'll have more on that probably in 3 months as that progresses. I'll answer questions if anybody has any.
Looks like Supervisor Grabarski.
Derek, where is that possible development? Is that on the west side of the 13? Because the east side's pretty well used up, isn't it? I know it is with the county.
That's for by the railroad tracks you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know where the city of Adams has their empty industrial park now, they also own land kitty corner to that, to the east, that's along the tracks directly south of the co-op, directly across the track from the big, I don't know what they are, grain bins over there, the big silver ones. Just on the south side of those, the city owns, I believe it's 28 acres.
How's the access through there? Does it come through their other industrial park or?
It's very limited right now. No, you can pull in near a substation, and then there's actually a snowmobile trail that goes back to the tracks.
Okay.
That's wide enough for a vehicle to go down. but that's all that's there right now.
Okay.
It's almost
It would have to be
completely
developed.
undeveloped.
It would have to be developed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would come from the east. The access road would come from 11th. Is that correct?
No, that would come from, there's an electrical substation just on the northeast corner of the park that's on Highway 13. And that's where entrance would likely come from.
It's gonna be a line substation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Its entrance would be back on the south end of that little subdivision that's back there. But the city's ownership does not run all the way over to 11th.
Supervisor Paler?
What is the development on the south end of the county? Is that what's going on there by Chula Vista?
That is just for housing. Where they cleared it and they flattened everything out. I believe they're adding housing right there.
So that's not the same project you're talking about.
It's the same entity, but that's not the project I'm talking about, no. It's still a bit confidential. But yeah, in 3 months, we'll be able to get into it quite a bit, I think.
Okay. Thanks, Derek. Treasurer's report is included. Mine's working. There we go. No questions? Supervisor Gabarski?
Thank you. What about the tax settlements are all taken care of now. I'd assume county got the money from town of Rome and everything's settled up for now.
Treasurer?
Yep, the county did receive the payment from the town of Rome. We'll start adding the 2024 delinquent taxes once we finish the August settlement. That's typically when those numbers get added in.
Okay. Okay. IT.
Any questions?
I don't see anything attached.
I figured it'd be a little easier reading for you guys if you had less to read. No.
Okay, then human resources
Mr.
report
Chair,
is attached. Yes.
Carol is unable to attend today. If there's any questions on the report, I can either take note or I can have you email her directly.
Okay. Then we'll move on to county clerk's report.
Anyone have any questions?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Lyanna, that Act 84, what exactly is that? When I read that, it's affected our numbers, I think you wrote.
It's attached right here too. We don't have any judges that do marriages here in our courthouse. So a lot of times the people will go to their place that they can get married at and get their license, cause they can do their license, you know, anywhere in the state of Wisconsin now.
So what is it that another courthouse would have that we don't?
They have judges that do marriages.
We got judges.
They don't do
couple of 'em.
marriages.
Ours do not do marriages.
A lot of time it's municipal judges that'll do the marriages more than the state ones. Cause I know my brother-in-law's was a municipal judge and he did a lot of marriages. So.
Clark County judges do marriages. I think it's up to each individual judge.
Yeah.
I know, I got married by a county judge, so.
Okay. As we digress, we'll move on to the Corp Council's report.
I don't have anything to add. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, and we'll move on to Finance Director. Monthly report.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
were there any questions on my report?
On the Wisconsin surplus report, when is the last date for those Silverados?
Mr. Chair,
There you go.
I believe it's in 3 days.
Okay, so we'll know next month.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, and anything changes with the work group report, ARPA? No.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
we did make the final payment for the housing study. And I believe this happened this month, was the initial payment for the fire district.
Okay.
So that'll be reflected next month when I look back at June.
Okay. But those payments were in full, or
No, it was a partial payment.
I
for-
mean, like the housing study wasn't under budget or,
Actually, Derek assisted with receiving a $25,000 grant. And then there was another $4,000 grant as well for that housing study. So that wound up essentially being under budget due to other
Okay.
funding sources
but those excess monies then will go
to the highway
to
department.
the highway department as we, yeah, as the resolution would say. Okay. Okay, seeing nothing else, we'll move on to the administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning. Let's start out with the accolades. This month, we have Julie Schnolas, and we're recognizing her for promoting efficient operations in her office by implementing the tagless recording system. And under capital projects, the building project, the bid package should go out this month, and a review of the bids should take place in July with the committee. Cottonville Dam. It's in its design stage for the 2026 project. The powerhouse, however, is in a bad condition right now, and we're going to be requesting that the occupant vacate. This is we usually had a revenue generator through this process, but the one who's occupying it now is going to have to vacate, and Corporation Council is working on that. And then I just give an update on a highway project there. Under happenings, the airport flight approach update. Colton Wolsack is playing a big role in this project with the timber sales. And sales students, they were also in the paper, but the sales students completed their term in May. Senior fair was a success despite the weather. And a splash pad update. There's a meeting tomorrow. If those who want to attend, it's the Public Works Committee with the City of Adams. They're having a meeting about this project.
You don't know what time that is?
Marge, do you know?
I did, but it's long.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry I didn't put that time on there. Community involvement and other meetings. The library is pursuing a bookmobile again. The last time it was brought to the board was back in 2022. So you can, I believe this is on the agenda for a committee of the whole at the next board meeting. A presentation is anticipated. Highway Department 2024 negative cash. Pat Godlowski brought the matter forward and and is going to be working with finance to present to the Highway Committee in July, just exactly what caused the negative cash situation out there. Other than that, are there any questions on the report?
Supervisor Edwards?
Mr. Chair, when is the Highway Z project starting? Do we have a start date yet?
I think Pat was going to be on.
June 17th, that's next week.
Yeah. Thought I had it on the. He's got a walkthrough today. That's why he was going to be late on this meeting. He has a walkthrough on one of the projects today too.
Okay. Any other questions? We have the expense report there. Any questions on the expense report? Okay. Seeing that, we'll move on to next item, the airport claim, and Corp Counsel is going to cover this, I guess.
Sure. So this is a claim from a gentleman who rents a hangar, and his claim is that a county mower ran into his hangar and caused damage. So he submitted the claim to his own insurance company, which is State Farm. They paid a total of $16,996.97 out to him. And State Farm is now asking that the county reimburse them. I don't know what evidence they had to show that I don't know how they determined that it was our mower that hit the hangar.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I would have questions as to how many sheets of steel they had to replace and where they came up with that dollar figure. And I can tell you what steel is selling for is $3.70 a lineal foot. So if those are 12-foot sheets, you're looking at less than $50 a sheet. So if they damage 10 sheets, you're only looking at $500, and they're just screwed to the studs. It's not a big deal to replace them. So I just can't understand where they come up with that dollar figure.
I mean, is this something we would normally deny and send on to our insurance company?
Thank you for reminding me. I had already sent it to our insurance company and they said it would not be covered.
Okay.
So we certainly can deny, we can approve, or you can ask me to obtain further information.
But, excuse me,
Yes.
there's a lot of things here that I don't understand. I'm along with Jerry here. First of all, there's a gap there. There's about a foot gap where unless that gravel portion was put in afterwards, that I don't know. But otherwise, there's no reason for a mower to be up that far to start with. And if State Farm decided that that was a good idea to pay it, then That's why the guy carries insurance. Why should we reimburse an insurance company? We didn't have any premiums and stuff come our way. So I think this should be denied wholeheartedly.
He just, that's his thought. He didn't make a motion. Okay,
I'll second it.
okay. Motion to deny the claim. Second by Supervisor Paler. Further discussion? I mean, as we move forward with this, if we deny it, I mean, they could take further action on it, right? And,
They could.
okay,
I don't know, it's not a huge amount, so I don't know how likely it would be that they would do that.
I don't understand why an insurance company thinks that they're not responsible. They're the ones that approved that claim, apparently. So we had nothing to say about that. Not that I know of.
Right. And I don't know either, why, I don't know how the insurance company determined that it was our mower that caused the damage. I don't know how they determined the amount of the claim. But it is common for insurance companies when they pay out something, they file what's called a subrogation claim with the party they believe to be liable. And so that's what they've done here, is filed a subrogation claim.
Supervisor Edwards.
Excuse me, I have to agree with the motion. I just feel like there's not enough information there for us to even know. Plus the amount seems a little exorbitant.
Okay. So you had the motion on the floor. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. That motion passes. That claim is denied. So. Next, we have the resolution confirming and ratifying the authority of council for Adams County to add additional defendants to the opioid limitation. Corp Counsel, are you covering this too also?
Sure, Mr. Chair. So what happened here is at least one pharmaceutical company read the fee agreement that our county, as well as several other counties, have with the law firms that are representing us in the opioid litigation, and said, we don't think this authorizes you to add new parties, in other words, new pharmaceutical companies. Our outside counsel disagrees with them and thinks that the fee agreement does authorize Adams County to add new parties, but they've asked us to bring forth this resolution just to make it crystal clear that our outside counsel is authorized to add new plaintiffs, whether they be pharmaceutical companies or other plaintiffs.
Supervisor Edwards.
Approve.
Okay. Motion to approve and send on to county board. Is there a second? Supervisor Grabarski. So any further discussion or questions? I mean, this all came forward from the county's association, I assume. So in the attorneys dealing with the opioid litigation.
Right. It came from, I can never remember their name. I believe they're in Whitefish Bay. They're our lead counsel.
Mhm.
But Andy Phillips also followed up with everybody and said, hey, we haven't seen your resolution in. Please get it into us as soon as possible. So he's aware of it and has given his blessing as well.
Okay. Okay. So motion to approve the resolution sent on the county board. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. That resolution is approved, or that motion is approved and the resolution go on county board. Next is resolution to approve the job description for the county administrator. So this is the job description we worked on. So this is just the resolution. So we can take this to county board.
I'll move to approve.
Okay, Motion to approve and send on the county board by Supervisor Paler, second by Supervisor Edwards. So we had that motion on the floor. Any further discussion or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. That job description, that resolution will move on then to county board. Next, we have the resolution to approve the employment contract for the county administrator position. I mean, hopefully we can cover this in open session if we don't get into any personal stuff. You authorized me to last month to talk with the administrator with the contract that we came up with in the committee. The only change that was made was the removal for removal by the board. And instead of being a simple majority, I agreed to take it to a 2/3 majority, similar to an elected office. So that's the only change in the contract that was made after the committee told, authorized me to take it and talk to the administrator about it. So,
Mr. Chair,
yes.
I believe there was one other change. I'll have it up here in just a minute. It was something about the expectation that she do, I don't think the word was exceptional, but something like that.
Yeah. Oh, that one sentence that was struck then. So,
okay, I think it was the fourth. Sorry, I'm still pulling it up here. Okay, now I can find it.
Is it the one in the second paragraph of duties of office?
yes.
Last
Yes, that's what it was.
Here we go. Sorry, Marge found it before I did, but, okay, so in number 2, duties of office, if you go to the second paragraph, it had said, the county administrator understands and agrees that an average level of performance is not acceptable under this contract, and the county administrator must consistently exhibit above average skill and diligence and initiative in exercising the duties of this position.
So those were the two things that were changed. Yes. Well, in talking with the county administrator in that sentence, it'd be pretty subjective with that terminology. And I mean, we've been doing the evaluations this committee has and the county board and department heads have input in on that review process. So to have that language in there, it would seem subjective to be above average and with our conversations with the administrator, we should be conversing, and if something isn't up to par, we should be telling her at that time. So what is a Supervisor Gabarski?
Yeah, so is this go between the administrator and ad and fi committee, or is this something that goes to the full board also?
The contract will go to the full board.
Okay.
So we're moving we'd be approving the resolution to go on to full board.
Thank you.
So. Yeah, I mean, we mentioned the two changes, and if the committee wants to, go along with those changes, then we just move it on. Yes.
You want a motion to?
A
move
motion
it
to
on?
approve the
Yep.
the resolution to go on to full board, yes.
So I would make the motion.
The resolution for the contract, right? The resolution covers the contract. So the contract will go to the full board for approval.
Okay, I would make the motion to move it forward to the full board.
Okay. Motion is second by Supervisor Paler. Any other discussions? So the contract and the job description will be on the full board, so, okay. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Okay, that resolution will go on to county board then, so we have no reason to go into closed session then, so next meeting date. July 11th. That work for everybody? 9 o'clock? Okay. Otherwise, we have nothing else. I'll declare the meeting adjourned.